Okay, so before we even start answering questions in the booklet, we need to take note of a couple of things on the instructions page. The first thing you should note is that all things need to be answered to 2 decimal places, which makes sense in the money context because we go to cents. We also need to be aware that only full marks will be received if you show working out. So keep that in mind. Okay, things to be aware of. In any of these problem-solving tasks or investigations, there's going to be a backstory that you need to interpret, and it's important to take out the information that you need from it, but essentially ignore everything else. So Luther's always been passionate about cars, so a few years after he leaves school, he decides to open a mechanic shop. He has been saving really hard since he left school and managed to accumulate $20,000 in savings. This is our first piece of information. However, he's calculated he needs $37,500 in order to make it work, to get all the tools and things like that. So these 2 pieces of information will need to be carried on to the next page, which brings us into this. So in order to work out how much money he needs to borrow from the bank, we need to work out how much he falls short by. In this instance, he needs this much to start up. He has $20,000, so the difference is $17,500. He has 2 options in order to start his business. He needs to invest the money. The 2 options that he looks at are a compound interest rate of 3.5% per annum and leaving it in for 10 years, or paying it off over 10 years, I should say, or borrowing the same amount of money at a simple interest rate of 4% over the 10-year period as well. So what we will do is put these into the formulas. Now, you'll notice as we go through, I've put page references in the images and formulas. Really make sure that you've got the formulas and know what they mean in your summary book. Okay, so for the first option, option 1, we're looking at compound interest, and this is our rate, and we're going to put it into this equation. Now, we learnt during the topic that we can use our calculator to do this by going into the sequence tab and explicit tab and entering our formula. So A and E here is going to be our amount, and we're going to enter our simple interest formula using the information we have into the equation part of it. So we have 17,500, and we're going to multiply it by 1 plus, and I'm going to use fractions just to make sure that we do get everything as accurate as possible. Enter in the interest rate, and for this one we're going to do it to the power of n, n being the number of years. So push enter. Now this will give us our total amount, and our question actually asks for the interest. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this equation and move it down here and subtract the principal. And what this will do is it will give us the amount of interest that is accumulated each year. I'm just going to check that we're going to 10, because that's all we're interested in, by going to this button here and selecting n equals 10, and then I graph it. And if we have a look here, we've got the amount that would be, total amount that would be being paid off, and we have the amount of interest, the 17,000. So for the first year you have 612 and so on and so forth. Now remember from the beginning when we read the instructions, we need to go to 2 decimal places. If you look over here at our results, we only have 1 decimal place. When we highlight the answer, we get all the decimal places. We look at the third one and we round up or down based on that third number. So this one becomes 448. Now another thing to remember about this problem is that he's not making payments as he goes along. So this is the interest, assuming he doesn't make any payments to pay it off as he's going along. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the simple interest formula using the same principle, the 4%, and we're going to be looking at the 10. So we enter it in the same way we would the other one, where A and E is going to be the interest this time, and we put it in. Now again, I'm going to make sure I use a fraction, just so that I know that I'm getting it 100% correct. 4%, and we're using n for time because we don't we want a variable time. Hit enter. We don't need to do the subtract because we've got it there already. Check that we're going to the right number, which we are, and hit that. And again, highlight our answers. Now, with simple interest, we're not going to have any decimals for this because all that happens is that it goes up by 700 each year. So now again, this assumes he makes no payments, and he'll end up paying $7,000 in interest. The last part of this question asks us to give advice on which loan we think he should take and justify our answer. So we're going to say he should take option 2. Simple interest, because he pays less interest. And we can show that as a number as well. So we just do 7. So he ends up paying an extra $185.48 if he takes the compound interest.